Hi, and a warm welcome here to Fribourg. My team of the Economic Development Agency for the Canton of Fribourg has a range of activities. First of all, we promote startups with university know-how. We support companies in their settlement. We encourage the establishment of companies from outside of the canton. We also expand supporting existing companies here in developing their projects with high added value. And lastly, I have a field of activities in regional policy support that supports innovative and collaborative projects by companies and universities. These are joint projects in which the agri-tech and the agri-food sector also plays a role. Now, why Fribourg? We have a long history in the agri-food sector. Names such as Gruyère or chocolate manufacturing and production is a homestead brand here. We are also at a crossroad between tradition and ambition, and there is a clear ambition from the government to position Fribourg as a leader in the agri-food sector. Numbers, we have more than 2,840 farms. That covers roughly 8,500 full-time equivalents, and a strong export orientation and an important sector in the local economy. It's roughly 7.5% of the GDP, almost 12,000 full-time equivalents, and that's percentage-wise 7% of the total GDP. And it's a very dynamic sector also in the transformation sector with more than 190 companies. Most of them are SMEs. So it's a very dense fabric that we have. Why is this agri-tech sector and agri-food sector so important for the Canton of Fribourg? As I mentioned before, we have a long tradition and a long history in that sector, but this is also something that is anchored in the strategic development of the canton. We have decided, by focusing on the bioeconomy and the Industry 4.0, to focus in areas of strength that we have. And then again, when you talk about bioeconomy, it encompasses the agricultural and the food sector. It encompasses the building and construction sectors and the biotech sector. Basically, it is all that covers living things and also biosourced materials. And the other element that comes into that is Industry 4.0, where we've noticed that at the crossroad of those two elements, bioeconomy and Industry 4.0, there is an opportunity for doing really interesting things where you can actually move ahead or basically transform value chains and pepper them with innovation, and also have significantly more impact in terms of value added. And this is areas that would be fermentation, protein extractions, also all that is related to nutrition and medication. These are elements that are really interesting that we are currently working on. Concrete examples would be, there is one of my favorite companies in the canton is a company called J&J Automation. It's the market leader for robots that take care of handling cheeses in maturing caves that you will find here in Switzerland, but also in places as far off as Minnesota or Wisconsin. As part of the governmental program, we've decided to set up 3 flagship programs. One in the area of valorization of biomass, another one in the area of agriculture 4.0, and a third one in the food and farm living lab. Now, why these 3 flagship programs? The first one in the valorization of biomass gives us the possibility to work in exciting areas such as using byproduct of the local transformation industry in the food sector, which is very important in the canton, and develop new products. Typically, we are working on a project where we would use whey and enrich it with vitamins and supplementary proteins. That's one example. The other one is in the agriculture 4.0 is a very focused and targeted use of fertilizers, so as a way also to be efficient, both economically but also environmentally. And the third one that I mentioned is this Food and Farm Living Lab, is basically a lab where we can test new products with the consumer. In addition to that, we have also attracted to Fribourg the NTN InnoBooster dedicated to food, which has the mission to work with open innovation and to basically bring innovation through an open innovation process to the industry. That's one element that we're very proud of. The other thing that we have is that we host in the Canton of Fribourg the cluster food and nutrition of the capital region Switzerland. And it has a mission of federating all of the actors, and many of them SMEs, into one single unit. Agroscope is also going to move its center of decision from Bern to Fribourg. So basically all of the research and development that will be taking place in Switzerland will be managed and supported out of Fribourg. And the other element that is worthwhile mentioning is the fact that Fribourg is also an active member of the Swiss Food and Nutrition Valley. So for us, this area is of significant importance, and we're also putting quite a lot of resources in that area. The three flagship programs that I mentioned initially have been granted both all of them with a total of 1 million. We're starting those projects right now, and this really shows the type of dynamism that we're putting in the food sector, and we're really excited about that. Now let's talk about sites and science. There are 3 sites relevant to the agri-food sector. First one is the Agrico site in Saint-Aubin, which is a large site with constructible site in the volume of 250,000 square meters, an attached farm. We have the campus in Grangeneuve-Pozieux, which combines the agricultural college of the canton and the Agroscope. Linked to that is also a competence center for raw milk. And the third one is the innovation quarter at the heart of the capital of the canton, the Blue Factory, which hosts a number of clusters and research centers that are relevant to the food sector. Now let's talk about science. Fribourg is the youngest canton in Switzerland, and it's also due to the fact that we have a high density of universities and technical colleges. These universities and technical colleges have number of specialization and competencies in areas such as polymers, such as nanotech, such as chemistry, fine chemistry. Also the ambition to create interdisciplinary food centers where we start also to look at the social aspect of food and nutrition. So there is a definite ecosystem, not only economically but also academically, on which we can build upon. Then we also have another science park and quarter of innovation, which is Blue Factory in the heart of the city of Fribourg, which houses a number of competence centers, houses the cluster food and nutrition, and also the NTN InnoBooster. It also hosts numbers of activities in the area of engineering. This is also something that the applied sciences has a food ecosystem competence center. It also has a very efficient chemistry lab, ChemTech. Then on the part of the university, we have a lot of competence in FoodTech, in biochemistry, in nanotech, in big data, and the ambition is also to develop in the longer term an interdisciplinary center for the food sector. In many ways, what we do in terms of when we collaborate with startups or companies that come to Fribourg is that we develop a customized approach. You're not seen as a number, but you're a person. It's basically like human-sized interactions. The collaborations with the different stakeholders happen according to different sectorial needs. There is a definite proximity to the decision makers. There are specialized schools. We have a multilingual workforce. Clearly, that's a Swiss advantage as well, great economic and political stability. What you will have with my team is an open door policy. We will work with you. We will develop a customized approach. And definitely, at the end of the day, Fribourg is the place to grow.